The wind moved like an old spirit across the barren ranch, whispering through the broken boards of the weathered wooden gate. Beneath it, 8 bodies hung upside down, their feet tied to a long beam, their long black hair swaying like dark curtains in the cold desert breeze. They were 8 Apache girls, bruised, beaten, breaths so faint they were barely visible in the dying sunlight. Jackson Hale felt his heart hammering as he leapt off his horse. He didn't think, just cut. One rope after another, he sliced the bindings, lowering each broken body into his trembling arms. Rage burned inside him. No one deserved this. No one. When the last girl lay safely on the ground, Jackson looked around the land he had sacrificed everything to buy. And for the first time, he saw it differently. This wasn't just soil and rock, this was a land steeped in blood. Theirs. Not his. Still, he couldn't walk away. These 8 dying girls needed him. Inside the old wooden cabin, the stove's glow flickered across their exhausted faces. Jackson laid blankets down, placing the sisters close so their body heat might fight the cold. Their skin was icy. His hands went numb just touching them. He brewed a remedy from northern herbs. He wasn't a healer, but he had survived enough lonely nights to know how to help. The first girl to open her eyes had hair to her waist, a sharp, thin face, and eyes like flint. "Arya. You're not with the Derringers," she rasped. Jackson let out a dry, humorless laugh. "If I were, you wouldn't be breathing right now." Arya glanced around and saw her sisters bandaged, warmed, given water. She touched the wrap on her wrist and gave a small Apache nod of gratitude. Another sister, LRA, her gaze steady as steel, sat up. "You saved us." "But why?" Jackson stared at the fire. "Because some things you just can't ignore." Their eyes understood. As strength slowly returned, Arya spoke again, her voice low and heavy. "This ranch, it was never yours. It never belonged to any white man." She pointed to the ground. "This is our father's land. Sacred land." Jackson felt a weight settle in his chest. LRA's voice trembled. "The Derringer clan came 10 years ago, wanting to seize the underground spring, the only water in the dry season. Our father refused. They slaughtered our tribe. Only the 8 of us lived. Our father divided the map to the spring into 8 pieces," Arya continued. "Each of us carries one. They can't get the land unless they get us." "Then why were you tied up at my gate?" Jackson asked. "To draw someone out," Arya answered. "To see who might come. Then capture him. Torture him. Force answers from him." Jackson felt a chill crawl up his back. He had walked straight into a blood feud that had been simmering for generations. The youngest, Nima, whispered, "If you let us go, you can still leave. Before they return." Jackson stared into the dark through the window. Strange signs around the ranch, shadows in the distance, hoof prints that weren't his. The Derringers already knew someone had rescued the girls. He answered without turning around. "I spent my whole life saving to buy this land. But if it rightfully belongs to you, I'm not abandoning you on it." A spark of hope flickered in Arya's eyes. Night brought a biting desert cold. The 8 sisters slept in exhaustion while Jackson sat by the window, Winchester across his knees. Something in the night felt wrong. Hooves thundered suddenly, slow, deliberate, heavy. Boone. Jackson stepped onto the porch. Moonlight carved his silhouette against the dark figure on horseback. Vandrich Boone sat tall and cold, his long hair tied back, a worn black coat draped over his shoulders. A rope hung from his saddle, one that had seen too many necks. Well, Boone drawled. "Jackson Hale. Touching what belongs to the Derringers without asking." "All I saw were 8 people hung like animals," Jackson replied. "I cut them down." "You should have let them die," Boone said bluntly. "Would have been easier. For them. For you. I'm not handing them over. Boone's jaw twitched. Those girls carry pieces of our family map. This land, the spring, the valley, it's ours. Hand them over. You're not taking anything from here. Boone stared hard at Jackson, then pulled the reins. Tonight I'm alone. Tomorrow, I'm not. And when I come back, he leaned closer, voice a razor. There will be no more talking. He galloped into the dark, leaving behind a promise of blood. Inside, Arya whispered, "You can still leave before sunrise." Jackson closed the curtain. "I didn't buy land. I bought a war." Midnight brought smoke. Flames flickered behind the barn. LRA grabbed Jackson's arm. "It's a trap." But the fire wasn't just wood burning, it was his future, his dream. Still, he listened, letting the sisters help him extinguish it. They stomped out embers while Boone's true message arrived. Jackson's horse lay slain outside the gate. Saddled. Mutilated. Left as a warning. You will stay. You will die. Inside, by the fire, Miresu whispered, "The Daringers never stop. Anyone who helps us becomes a target." But tonight, Jackson said, "You saved me too." A thin bond formed between them, fragile but real. A rock crashed against the window. A note. "Tomorrow we take the people. We take the land. Anyone who resists is buried." Jackson tossed it into the flames. "From now on," he said quietly, "no one here is alone." At dawn, hooves approached again, but this time slow, steady. A middle-aged man appeared, silver hair, worn face, a faded badge glinting through the dust. Marshal Rovan Pike. He handed Jackson smoke-scorched files, evidence of the Daringers' 8-year trail of violence. Burned ranches, buried victims. Stolen lands. Arya's voice sharpened. "You knew. And let them live." "They're protected," Pike said bitterly. "Courts, banks, patrols, every time I got close, witnesses vanished. Or I got a coffin. But with you 8 alive," he continued, "I can take them down. If you testify." Miresu shook her head. "They'll kill us first." "They'll try," Pike said. "That's why I'm here. To help you survive until the federal marshals arrive." Jackson swallowed. Boone said he'd return with the gang. "He will," Pike said. "And we must hold the line." The sisters exchanged glances. Arya asked, "If we testify, will justice truly be done?" "This is your last chance," Pike answered. After he left, the cabin fell still again. LRA whispered, "Jackson, why stay? You owe us nothing." "Maybe not," Jackson said quietly. "But once I see what's right, I won't walk away." At sunset, Pike returned with mules of supplies, sandbags, wire, planks, oil lamps. "They'll attack before dawn." The group split into teams. Tala and Paha mapped defenses around the ranch. LRA and Nima set snare traps. Miresu, Sui, and Yara built barricades and patched walls. Jackson watched the sisters, broken, hunted, yet unshaken. Pike placed a hand on Jackson's shoulder. "You could still go." "I'm not leaving a single girl behind," Jackson said. Night deepened. Arya sat beside Jackson. "If we don't make it." "We will," he said firmly. She gave him the first real smile he'd seen from her. Before dawn, silence filled the land, thick, unnatural. Arya whispered from the attic, "They're coming." Moments later, the ground trembled. Boone's entire gang emerged from the eastern darkness, forming a crescent around the ranch. "Jackson, hail!" Boone roared. "You've run out of road." "I'm not running." "Then you die here." The first shot cracked the darkness. Tripwire traps snapped. Riders fell. Arrows flew. Pike fired tight, lethal bursts. Sandbag defenses held. The sisters moved like a single unit, silent, precise, fearless. And the long-awaited war for the land began.